So you got your CDL and you want to be a tanker driver. Something different, right? I'm going to tell you what it takes to be a tanker driver. Let's talk about it. Number one, patience. Patience, patience, patience. If you want to be a tanker driver, you need patience. I pull a smoothbore tanker. It's one compartment. It's not a double pot. It don't got baffles. It don't got nothing separating it. It's going to move on you. Therefore, when you're pulling something that moves, you need patience. You need patience. Curves, you need to slow down. Ramps, you need to slow down. Taking off from traffic lights, you need to slow it down. Pulling the tank is hard on these trucks. Excuse me. It's hard on the transmissions. It's hard on the drivetrains. It's hard on the fifth wheels. It's hard on everything because you got 20, 30, 40,000 pounds back there moving back and forth. Slamming back and forth. It's hard on it. It's hard on the carrier bearings on the U-joints. It's hard on everything. So as the driver, the more you can do to eliminate that with smooth shifting, smooth acceleration, smooth stopping, the more you can do to keep the load from moving so much, the more you can help as a driver to limit the wear and tear on these vehicles. You know, a lot of times pulling tank, you'll be under gross, under 80,000, but you might be over on your drives or your trailer. You know, my company, we got fifth wheel risers to raise the fifth wheel up so the load could ride more at the back where it's a little lighter at. That's an option you can look at. When you get into tanker work, do you want to be chemical, hazmat? Do you want to haul food grade? You know, there's a lot of options you have. Typically, all the time with food grade, you'll either be a double pot or you'll be a smoothbore, meaning just one compartment. Food grade don't got baffles because when you're dealing with food stuff, you have to have it clean, certified, all that stuff. They're not gonna do the baffles with the food grade. That'll be another step, is what type of tanker job do you want to have? Do you want a local tanker job, regional, over the road, local, maybe gasoline, some kind of chemical. Over the road could be, food grade. You see the companies out there. I'm not giving nobody no free advertisement. So on the company side, you want to Google it. You can do your research for your area on what company you want to work for. Along with the patience, I'm telling you, another area where you need patience. The plants. I haul organic milk. The plants sometimes get full. They got silos. They get full. They're not processing a lot of milk. You're going to have to wait. I've waited 34, 36 hours before waiting to get unloaded at a facility. I've sat there. It's common. It happens. It seems to happen in bunches. Matter of fact, I'm waiting right now at a plant. It ain't that bad yet, but I'm waiting. So you wanna kind of plan for that. Once you get to a company, see how things work, how things go, you'll get an idea of what to expect. Seals is important on any load, but with food stuff. So for me, when I get my tanker load, I always double check the back seal. I don't climb up and check the top seal, because I know if one seal matches the paperwork, I'm good. Now, if I get my paperwork and no seal matches the tank that I'm supposed to have, that lets me know one of two things. Either the seal numbers are wrong or I have the wrong tank. So there you can start the process of elimination. Hey, is the tank number correct? Did somebody make a mistake on the seals? That will cover you in the long run, and that will save you from taking the wrong tank somewhere. It has happened. Where I work at, it has happened. I'm sure it happens other places. You get somewhere and it's an honest mistake. But you can limit those mistakes so you don't got to be the person to make that phone call to say, hey, I grabbed the wrong tank. Another thing is empty. 99% of the time when we deliver somewhere, we're coming out empty. That means in the winter weather, we're coming back empty. In the wind, we're coming back empty. Now, mind you, we're a little lower profile vehicle. We're not like a van or a 53-foot reefer where we're going to be getting smacked on the side with the wind. So we have that advantage of, being a little more versatile in that weather. You're not going to have, for us, we don't have a lot of dock time. No dock time. So we can't back to a dock and unload. Actually, coming from pulling reefer trailers, doing tanker work, I said to myself, man, I don't know if I can go back and bump a dock anymore. Like I done kind of got baby pulling tank. Like, yeah, it sucks when you have to sit somewhere and wait to get unloaded. Absolutely, it sucks. But for the most part, it's kind of like, man, so tank is, in my opinion, tank is the way to go. So I personally, I've done reefer trailers, man. You get there 2-3 o'clock in the morning, you sit there to the afternoon, grocery warehouses, then you on to pick your, it's just a never-ending cycle, man. You get off track, you're running at night, sleeping during the day, then you gotta try to get back on track. I've done the reefer trailers, man, and I'm telling you, tank is the way to go. Keeping track of your samples, At my company, we got guys that do all that, but there is some loads that we pick up where the customer gives us samples. If that happens, a customer physically hands you a sample. It needs to be in a cooler that's nothing else in it but ice and water. You don't put your soda in there. You don't put your water in there. You get to a facility and an inspector sees that, man, that could be bad. They could reject the whole load. It needs to be nothing but those samples in that cooler, nothing else. That sample needs to go in the cooler immediately. What happens is those loads get loaded and sampled. If you get somewhere and they get rejected, say you got 2 pickups, you get rejected for bacteria, temperature, the pH balance and that stuff or whatever, anything. They gonna go back and take each individual sample and see what farm or location that came from. But also, when that sample gets warm, it drives the count up way high and it lowers the quality of that milk that they are receiving. And that's how the farmers get paid. They get paid off of that. It's vital and it's essential to get those samples on ice and water in that cooler immediately. Do not waste no time doing that. That is very important because you're costing people money and this is their livelihood, and it's your fault for doing that. It's not their fault. It's your fault. How would you feel if it was your money? And that's simple. It's easy. Just do it. I'm trying to think. Tanker is pretty easy. Patience. You'll learn. If you're a bad driver doing the tank work, you'll learn quick. If you're a tailgater, you like to speed, you're right up on people's butt, you'll learn quick. Because once you get on them brakes real good and you get that surge, man, you'll feel like you got rear-ended by a train, man. You'll learn to back off of people. Tanker will make you a better driver if you have bad habits. This will weed it out. Because dealing with something that moves, learning how it moves, how it shifts, how the truck reacts to it is vital to your success and to everybody's safety on the road. Tanker is a good job to have. It's a vital job. When the economy started going down, we haul food grade. We were able to still work. We didn't miss a beat. So think about that during food grade. Food's never going to stop being made. People always got to eat or drink, or, I mean, milk is vital. Eggnog, you know, they make the coffee creamers. They make, you know, they make it into powdered milk for babies. I mean, it's just something that's always going to be there. So it's something to really look into to make a good, you know, a good living for your family. Tanker work. There's so many options with tanker. You know, I live in Ohio. You go to the BMV, it's free to take the endorsement test. Now it costs to put it on your license. That's where the money comes from. But you can go take the endorsement test for free. Go take your endorsement test, get it put on your license. You know, find you a company you want to work for. Get you some tanker work. They got tanker jobs out there where you have to unload your own loads. You know, and they'll train you. They'll train you how to hook the hoses up. They'll train you how to run the pumps. They'll train you how to, you know, what to do at each facility. If you like that type of stuff, there's companies out there that do that. They'll train you how to run in-transit heat on some of these loads that got to stay warm, especially we in the winter months now. That, you know, if that's what excites you and stuff like that, you can do that. Another thing with tanker work, if you have the ability, we have some customers where we hook up the hoses and things like that. If they hand you that wash tag, I always check the seal they give me with the wash tag. They'll tell me one or two things. Either they're wrong or I'm wrong or somebody's wrong. If the seal number or anything's wrong on the wash tag, load's no good. The wash is no good. You're going to get to a facility, you're going to need to be washed. You're going to get somewhere to unload, and they're going to say, wash tag is bad, and the load is bad. Load may be perfectly fine, but how do they know that? You know, so if you have that ability, we don't always have that ability to check them things, but if you always have that ability, that's stuff you need to pick up on. Always check your paperwork for your destination, tank, name, anything, you know, because people are human. They make mistakes. Mistakes happen. Anything that can be caught by you, me, you know, a loader, anything that can be caught before you get to the plant and have a problem is money and time that's saved to the company. Because all that downtime, loads get rejected, loads have to get redirected somewhere. Sometimes the loads have to go be taken to a field and be dumped. There's nothing even wrong with it, but because a mistake happened. So these are things to be mindful of when you're pulling tanker, at least that what I've experienced. These are things you need to be mindful of. Keep an eye on your load. These smooth tankers that we pull, they have coming out of each ladder, and it drops down towards the ground and have overflows in them. You know, you can look at the size of the tank and see if it's leaking. You may be able to not really tell on the ground unless you've been stopped there for a while. Or maybe a splashback on the fender, but size will really tell you and give you an idea if you either have a bad gasket, a rubber seal, there's a rubber seal up there around the dome lid. That could be bad or that could be loose. A lot of customers feel like if the load is getting out, that means there's a chance of something getting in. I mean, they take a peek at that stuff and they really be, you know, on it. So that's something to pay attention to. You may need to climb up there and en route and tighten the wing nuts a little tighter. If you have a trailer, a tank that has a pump on the back, you are responsible for cleaning that pump at the plants. I pulled a tank that I didn't even use the pump. It was loaded at our facility. I took it to a customer. But even though I didn't use the pump and I told them the pump is clean, I had to get soap and water, which they provide at the plants, to go back there, soap and clean all that and spray it out, because they don't want it smelling like milk and spoiling back there. That milk will sit back there and it will spoil and stink. They open that and they smell that and they're like, whoa, no. So I had to get it, you know, clean it real good. They provide the bucket, the soap, the water, the scrubbers to clean it, and I did it. It was no problem. You know, they wouldn't give me the wash tag without it, so I did it. It was cool. I sprayed it. They seen it. That was simple and that was easy. You know, things like that is things you gotta look for. Another thing with tanker, the heavier the load, the smoother it will ride. We got 6,200 gallon tanks. That's standard for us. We obviously can't fill them to the top. That's not legal. We normally haul 46, 47, 48,000. But sometimes we'll haul 30,000, 23,000. So the higher you are to being full, the smoother it's going to ride. You're not going to have so much surge. 21, 22, 23, you're going to have a lot of surge. A lot of surge. You're going to be working. But also the 20, the 21, 22, 23,000 pound loads, you'll also feel them side to side. Forward and backwards and side to side. 45, 46, 47, you will just feel it forward and backwards. You will have to learn how to shift with the load. If you never pull a tanker, when you start, you don't want to be mashing in the gas. Ease into it. I have an 18 speed. Ease into it. When I take off, I'm not in a rush. Ease into it, shift. You shouldn't really feel that first initial hit, you know, the load going to the back. You shouldn't really feel that until you get on the high side. So when I go from 4th to 5th on the high side, that's when I should really feel that first slam, boom. Then I can start getting into it, and I'll start shifting with the load. Then I don't shift it when it slams to the back. When I feel it slam to the back, that's not when I'm shifting going forward, because I'm gonna just be fighting through that surge. I feel it go to the back, I'll shift, because then once it goes to the back, it's gonna come back to the front. It's gonna give you that push to the front. Then you can shift through that way and get your momentum that way. And that will help you learn to shift with the load. Keep your movements to a minimum. Curves, braking, everything should be smooth into a minimum. The more you can keep that load from moving, the smoother the ride will be. You won't get beat up. You won't get, it'll be just better overall. Smooth, steady movements. No sudden wheel jerks, no sudden slamming on the brake, no sudden acceleration. And once you get up to highway speeds, that load will level out. It'll level out. It's nothing to be scared. It's nothing to be worried about. It'll level out. You'll ride, you can enjoy the scenery at that point. So that's some things to think about when pulling a tanker. Tanker is good. I like tanker. It's not bad at all. So hopefully this will kind of give you ideas. It's pretty simple, actually. I didn't even cover a lot of topics, but if you're worried or anything's bothering you, hopefully this will be something to kind of ease you. So I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe. If I missed any tips, or if you have any tips or any questions, drop them down below in the comment box. Share some of y'all's tanker experiences with me, and we'll catch you at the next video.